Well, hey guys, it's Josh. Just checking in with you guys. If you've noticed that my immediate camera picture quality has improved, that's just because I did pick up a brand new capture card, and it seems to be performing a lot better than my last one, which was one of those little cheap $5 or well, not $5, but like $8. I think a couple years ago, Epos Vox on YouTube called them cam bakes or something like that. But basically, it's the cheap little UVC one that is like I think it's like $20 on Amazon right now. Should probably turn off that heater. But anyways, I just figured I'd bring some attention to this project that I've been messing around with. So I I was on the Linux cast, and last week there was this guy that was just like constantly asking Matt to actually review Hyprland, the Wayland compositor, and I figured Matt's not going to enable Wayland anytime soon because Matt's very patient when it comes to Wayland. So I figured, you know what? I'm a savage. I'm going to set up Wayland and run Hyperland. And I mentioned this on the podcast, the Linux cast, last Friday, and I realized very quickly that all I had to do was pull in different source and set up. But anyways, I'm on Gen 2, by the way. Let's just hop over to the screen and I'll explain this to you guys to you here. So this is Hyperland. This is actually the default theme, and I just have Waybar running. It's whatever defaults Waybar was running. And yes, it is beautiful. This is literally it by default. Well, by default it uses the dwindle layout, but I'm a master and stack kind of guy, so that's what I set up. And yes, I didn't set any transparencies. I didn't adjust any animation speeds. This is literally what it is, and it is actually quite beautiful as I just sit here and I launch a bunch of clients. And I these animations, I've never really been a big animation guy, and honestly I kind of wish that I could get them to run a little bit faster. If you know what I mean. But one thing that I noticed, and I'm falling in love with this compositor really quickly, is not the animations, but like this border. I don't know how well it shows on the video, but it's actually a gradient border where it's a light blue up in the upper left, and it changes down to a bit more of a green in the bottom. But let me pull up. Well, I'll tell you what, let me be a savage here because, the developer for Hyperlane uses VS Code. I'm going to use VS Code to look at the configuration file. And you can see that I did take some time to do a couple modifications, just to get stuff kind of similar to how I prefer to run. And so I set up my monitors, and the monitor config was actually pretty straightforward. If I've set up Sway, which it's the exact same process with Sway. And then you can see that there are some options for like gaps. Tell you what, let me make this border like a 6-pixel border. Just make it really big. That way you guys can actually see it. You guys see that gradients of the border there? That's actually really cool. And there is no restart option for it for this, or like a reconfiguration option. It basically change it as you guys saw me just adjust the border, and then I hit Control S to save. It just immediately changes it right there. If you've configured a terminal application like Alacrity before, it does that. Alacrity also does that. And you can see here where it's set the border colors right here, and it's actually really cool. You can see that it's set at like a 95-degree angle, or a 45-degree angle, which that would mean that the transition would start somewhere around here, maybe. Tell you what, let's try changing that, see what that does. So if I set that 90, it does seem to make a change. I just set that back to 45 because I like that at 45. And you can see that right here is master, so if I just switch it to dwindle, and let's open up a couple windows now. You can see where it's working a little bit differently now. and you can see where it's spawning windows generally where it's just like my focus is, and the focus is following the mouse, as you can see here from the window, from the different windows lighting up. Let me close a couple of these guys here. I just opened up a bunch of them here, and you know, it's pretty cool. But like I said, I like the master. I like master and stack. You know, it's just what I'm used to from just using DWM for so long. And here you can see that I'm not one for like super rounded corners. I think by default they're set to 20, which is a little extreme. That's a little too much roundness to me. I understand some people are a big fan of rounded corners, but you know, some of the stuff that I'm working with here, you can see where like this file menu is actually kind of cut off. I wasn't a big fan of that, but you know, I didn't want to set like a hard 0 because you know it's doing this. So it's just like I'll just do a rounded corner of 1. Just 1. So it's just got the slightest little bit of a rounded corner, and you know what? I actually don't mind this at all. And yes, it does support blur. It does support shadowing on windows, so like there's a slight shadow on the window, very slight. I have it set to be very slight, but you know, we can take this to the next level here. Well, maybe not. But anyways, and yes, there are animations here. Like I said, I wanted to see if I could speed it up, and I think I found the option. But you can see where if I set that, it gives me an error on it. So I just commented that back out. I do want to see if I can make the animations just faster, just like super snappy. And here they're talking about like some options here, like some options for the tiling option. It does seem to support gestures. I haven't taken the time to set it up on like a laptop or anything like that, so I can test the gestures using a touchpad. But I'll get on that at some point. And you know, the key binding system seems pretty straightforward. I think by default it wants to use Alacrity, the default configuration, at least how Gentoo provides it, which is plain vanilla. Let's change this because I'm not using Dolphin, I'm using Thunar as my file manager. So now if I hit Super E, it should, yep, it just launches Thunar, which is, you know, pretty cool. And it looks like Super V is toggle floating, which as soon as I hit Super V, you see the window kind of blur a little bit there. It's very quick and very slight, which I don't know too much about that. And then you can see where it calls sudo to go to dwindle. Oh, okay, so that's just like stuff specific for the dwindle layout. Okay. And then, you know, it's got some movement options, LR, left, right, up, down, so LRUD. I might switch that out for like Vim keys at some point, but, you know, it's actually pretty cool so far. I haven't quite gotten screen locking and quite working the way I want to. You can see where I'm calling like this exec1 script, and theoretically this should work. All I did was basically just copy paste the one that Sway provides in like their default configuration, and then I just kind of adjusted it so that it's calling hypercontrol dispatch DPMS. And for some reason it's shutting off 2 monitors but leaving one on. Thank goodness I set it to a black screen, and it kind of makes me wish I had an OLED monitor now. Right. I should put all these ending with ampersands. There we go. But, you know, it seems like a pretty straightforward config, and I've been messing around with it a little bit. And I'm kind of enjoying it. It does have this great website, which, you know, let me get this out of the way. Yes, I did use the mouse to move stuff. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible tiling window manager user because sometimes I do use my mouse with my tiling window manager, and I appreciate a window manager that allows you to use the mouse. But anyways, they've got this wiki right here, and the wiki is actually pretty good. And you can see that the by default it will always use the latest Git. So that's basically over here. So like let's see, repositories, Hyprland. There we go. It will. So if you just git clone the repository here and then sudo make install, or however it is that you install this. Yeah, right. There's a make file, so you probably just sudo make install. This is you. As soon as you pull up the wiki, you're on what you want. But of course, I'm using Gentoo, which Gentoo will always provide you with a tag release. So if I just do like an EIX Hyprland, specifically the version of Hyprland that I pulled was the 9999 branch. So I should theoretically be running latest Git. So this documentation would apply for me. So I'm on the correct one, and you can see where it's pretty well explained. I'm still, like I said, I'm still working through reading this documentation and figuring out what it is I need to be doing. And I'll tell you what, let me look over here at the releases. You can see that there's a lot of work that went into this 23 release. This is, they say it right here. It says right here, most important thing, beta. We have not seen a 1.0 release of Hyprland yet. And that's not necessarily a problem. It hasn't crashed on me at all, and it's working fairly reliably, which I found pretty cool. And this update came 3 weeks ago, and then that would put, I don't know my calendar that well. Well, thankfully, when I click on the date up here in Waybar, it pops up a calendar. But of course, Wayland being Wayland, it's going to pop it up behind the window, which I need to figure that one out with Waybar. But anyways, like I said, it's also a stock Waybar config. I haven't done anything with it whatsoever. But, there's a somewhat aggressive update pace with Hyprland. And, they might introduce some changing and breaking fixes. If you're on Arch Linux, by the way, Hyprland is in the AUR, and they recommend that you pull in the Hyprland-git package from the AUR if you're going to install this on Arch. But he's also keeping track of all the distros that actually do provide Hyprland. And you can see that Arch Linux, it is the primary one because it's also what the developer uses. So if you want the most stable Hyprland experience possible, it's probably worthwhile to run it on Arch. Not that Arch Linux is a super stable distro to begin with, but anyways, that's what the developer uses. He's building directly against Arch, so it might not be a bad idea to run Arch. You're not going to get this thing to work on Debian. I did have a distro hacking stream where I attempted to get Hyprland set up and to get rolling. Tell you what, let's actually just go over here to the YouTube channel real quick and see if we can find that stream real quick. It was a distro hacking episode, so if I click the live here, it wasn't that long. Let's see, Hyprland worth the hype. I spent probably half this stream trying to get Hyprland to work on Debian SID. Well, it turns out that Debian SID's GCC version is actually too old to compile Hyprland. It's Debian. What do you get? It's Debian. What do you expect, man? Anyways, you need like these upstream distributions. So you got Arch Linux, you've got Nix because Nix. There was supposedly some issue with Nix not having correct tooling, but at the same time, it's Nix and every package is supposed to be basically a containerized format, which I don't know too much about Nix development, but that seems to be a problem. OpenSUSE, it's available in the OpenSUSE build service. So, you can just click this link here. It takes you over to here, and you can see that it's built against Tumbleweed, which makes sense. Fedora, there are some discussions about Fedora. I think somebody actually has a Copper repository enabled, and right here, this guy gives you like build instructions for Fedora. I don't know if it's 37 or 38. Probably not a bad idea to build it on 38 if you're going to be using Fedora. Gentoo, it is available. It's in Gentoo's. It's available in the Guru repository. It's also available in Wayland Desktop, but the version in Guru is actually more up to date than the version that's in Wayland Desktop. So you want to install it from the Guru repository. That's just eSelect repository enable Guru, and then you install it. Apparently, there's a build for FreeBSD too. I don't know if it's in ports, but it's there. Freshports.org. So yeah, it's in ports. I just looked at the URL link. Yeah, so it's in ports. FreeBSD guys, if it actually works, cool. I don't use FreeBSD, so I don't really know. But it's out of the box. It's not that bad of a window manager. Like I have noticed a couple bugs. Like you saw where I went from like full screen Firefox. I open up this, and I'm at Firefox here for a hot minute, and then I go to open up my terminal. You saw that hinting of Firefox still in the background behind the blur. I think that's an issue relating to the blur and not necessarily the fade. I haven't taken too much time to delve into it because I'm looking more at like the stability side of things of Hyprland, which Hyprland actually has not crashed at all on me. I've had GNOME crash more on me using Wayland than Hyprland, which I found pretty interesting. I'm talking about like GNOME 44 on Fedora 38. I was going to make like a distro review video about Silverblue, but it's just like it was never really that interesting to begin with, so I didn't really make one. Sorry guys. If you want like a Fedora Silverblue review, watch another YouTuber. I generally don't like doing the distribution reviews. Sorry. But yeah. Anyways, the animations are really cool. I actually quite like them, and of course, NeoFetch. You can see I'm running this on Gentoo, and yeah, I'm still using the Arc GPU because that's still what I have. But hey, it's been working great. This system that I'm using right now is actually completely Xorg free. It feels weird to say that. I have no X applications installed. I mean, VS Code did pull in X Wayland. Well, actually, Hyprland did come in with X Wayland, so I have X Wayland on the system. But, like, if I run xprop, nothing. Let me click on this. Let me click on this. What about this? I clicked on, like, 6 different windows. xprop didn't pop up with anything. Now, I do... So, like, I do have Steam on here, which I think Steam still runs through X Wayland. I don't know. Let's try pulling it up if it loads. Steam, please. Oh, there it is. Hi, Steam. Welcome to the party. But yeah, I found like the GUI buttons on Steam didn't quite work out so well. And I was running GNOME, and GNOME has kind of taught me how much I kind of missed having like a system tray, But anyways, that's Hyprland. Seems to be working out pretty good for me. I haven't hated it yet. I'll see you some other time. Yeah.